How do you view the importance of accurate crediting in the music industry, and how has platforms like Muso.ai impacted your professional recognition?
So I think crediting is extremely important, as it is for, in film.
Yeah.
And crediting is like our resume,
Mhm.
it's our portfolio. And it shows that I've worked on these records.
Mhm.
So yes, it is important, but I will say, it's not the be all end all.
Mm.
I know when you're starting out, because I was the exact same way. I still am. Like,
Yeah.
people get miscredited all the time, or not credited, or they spell their name wrong in the liner
Yeah.
notes. And there is no like formalized version of how credits should be.
Mm.
And it's not even all like on all streaming platforms. So platforms like Muso.ai and Jaxsta they're like great. They're trying to bridge that gap. I don't know. I can't speak to how well it is, like how well they're doing.
Right.
I think it's a great thing. But at the end of the day, your reputation spreads through community, like we've said. And credits are important because it shows that these artists have trusted me with their work, and they're like they put it out.
Mhm.
They're willing to put my name on it. Like, I have a reputation amongst these artists, but I don't think there's ever been a single client I've got off of my credits alone. Like, I don't think anyone has ever looked at my credit list and been like, I have to work with Taylor.
Right.
It's nice as a compliment. It's nice to be like, oh, it legitimizes Taylor. He's worked on these projects. It's great. He's a professional, but it's never won me a gig alone by itself.
So interesting, because
Yeah.
I think that's where I think people get caught up, in some audio engineers, mixing guys, tracking guys. Like and obviously I get it, right? It's a track record, it's validation,
Yeah.
it's, a lot of things, but at the same time, it's, I think people get caught up in it a little bit, but they have a right to that.
Yeah.
And some, because there's some people that, not, there's no specific situation, but not credits not done, and people are working really hard on things and don't get that recognition,
or get miscredited,
or
like undercredited,
and going to get that change is like, I mean, I don't even know what's worse, like a DMV, or I don't even know what there's some government like building where it's like super old and like archaic methods of like, you got to change your names. Like, all right, we got to go back into like the tablets and like etch it in and redo. It's like, it's so crazy, dude. You know? So I'm hoping like there is innovation even in something like this, because it's like, to have an app created where they're linked to like the labels, or, things like this that like hopefully are like, I'm sure they are already there, and, Music.ai and all these other things are probably, some of these things, but to really just kind of get that connection happening, because I think a lot of engineers need that to to have that on their track record and show their catalog of things they've worked on.
Yeah.
But also loving what you said about, really it's just like word of mouth, and people like, I know this is Taylor's super great, I think you can jump him in there and get the recording done for this artist, and so that's another thing people need to understand is like, it's not the end of the world. Obviously it sucks if you're not getting credited, but
absolutely sucks.
It's really like the community, the network, and like all that stuff of like, just do your best and it'll get out there, and people will know you're just a badass guy, guy or girl, like really behind the boards doing your thing,
And for the record, like, it still happens now.
Yeah.
I think it happens regardless of whatever level you're at in your career, or whatever stage you're in. Like, there's always people who either don't care about the credits, they don't care to get them right, and that sucks.
Yeah, that's pretty
quite
terrible.
Frankly, it sucks.
It's so terrible.
Definitely crediting people properly, appropriately for the work they did is important. However, it's primarily word of mouth is how you're gonna get work. That's how I get work.
Yeah.
Anyways, the only other thing I would say that credits are very, very important is if you're trying to get a work visa. As a Canadian, getting a work visa down here in the US and finally getting my green card to work down here, my credits were huge to be able to show to US immigration and say, look, I'm a professional, and I do professional work. This is why I deserve to get a work visa.
Right.
So in that regard, it's very important. Huge. So I did go through a whole process of like fixing my credits and getting credited appropriately, just to be able to go through the official channels
Wow.
to get a visa. So that's another little wrinkle where it's like credits are important. Sometimes they're like, they're important to just show that you have like a trusted body of work. Sometimes they're important because the government needs to look at it. You know what I mean?
That's a whole other situation right there. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you for that. That's going to definitely, I'm going to add that in too, because that's obviously huge, especially nowadays. A lot of craziness going on. So thank you.
People traveling across borders. It's
absolutely,
very important.
absolutely. Thank you for that one, man.